ADDIESDIVE AD2048 is essentially a field watch, but its functional design and layout of the dial, elegant case design will provide for an easy daily wear of fabric. A fully stainless steel construction, brushed finish throughout, ensuring wear and tear is well disguised. You gotta love the dimensions on this watch. The 39mm case size is ideal in terms of following reduced case size trends, and the sub 48mm lug-to-lug length avails the piece to a wrist sizes of 5.5 inches and over. The inverted end links and those aggressively curled down lugs make all the difference. The steel bracelet is held together by push pins, also brushed, complementing the case finish. We get a screw down case back, a screw and crown. I love the bevel corners on the side clasp. There is just so much attention to detail on this watch. It also features sapphire crystal, an automatic movement, specifically the NH35. It gets a date window at 3 o'clock. There is a lot of useful features on this watch, and of course the price of $60 is just so good, because we know ADDIESDIVE is all about quality. They may not be the most premium brand out there, but you do get bang for your buck. You get great luminosity. Even here, there are no applied indices. Everything is printed, and still the luminosity is awesome. So once again, sapphire crystal, automatic movement, stainless steel case and bracelet, screw and crown, screw down case back, $60. So what we're going to be doing in this video is talking about this watch in a lot of detail. And I'll be giving you some hints that potentially you might want to check out another watch which is very similar to this one but a bit cheaper. Anyways, I'll tell you after the break. I get quite a few questions in the comment section of my channel. Why did I start YouTube? How am I doing YouTube? How am I managing to upload that many videos? What equipment do I use? Well, let's be fair. YouTube is my side hustle. I think that making these videos is me talking about one of my hobbies. I love watches. I really do. I think they're fun, but me just collecting these watches just wasn't enough. I thought, well, let me get my opinions out there. But getting your opinions out there is not enough to make a channel monetized and actually bring in some income. I needed to learn where I could do it, how I could do it, what equipment do I need. And I don't want to spend too much money. I just want it to be simple, fun. So I went to Skillshare and I picked up a course. Didn't cost me a lot of money, but it taught me there what I need to do, how I need to do it, when I need to do it, what equipment should I use, and I didn't want to spend a lot of money. And that was great because there were options. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave a link to that particular Skillshare course in the description below the video. Do check it out if you're interested in starting basically any YouTube channel. If you want a side hustle, if you want to get your ideas out there, and you just want to potentially get yourself some extra income on the side, that's a great place to start. With regards to the dimensions, we get a diameter of 39mm, a lug-to-lug length of 47.8mm, a height of 11.8, a lug width of 20mm, and a weight of 155 grams before I remove any links to fit my 6.5-inch wrist. This watch is all about utility. You can see it when looking at the profile. So it's got a very tall, flat flank. It's finely brushed laterally. Everything is smoothed down, yet it does look like there's some corners, which they're not sharp, but they look distinctive. Even if you look at the transition from the flank to the elongated lug hoods. Now these lug hoods maybe potentially look a bit long, but that's a bit of an illusion considering a lug-to-lug length of just 48.7mm. But it's also due to the inverted end links on the bracelet. And this bracelet is good because, well, firstly, it will disguise wear and tear marks simply because it's brushed. It's a very elegant bracelet, so it tapers down to 16mm at the clasp, starts off at 20 where it meets the lugs. It's a 3-link design. The tolerances are good, they could be better. Let's be fair, they could be slightly more tight, but at the same time we do get awesome link articulation, we get good fluidity of the links. There's hardly any distinction in the brushing style between the lug hoods and the end links, and that is great, so everything fits and is almost seamless at the integration point. We've got a tall fixed bezel here which holds the sapphire crystal in place. It's a nice open dial that you look at. And you get 3 variations. So there's the black dial, there's the white dial, as well as the green dial. This is a purebred field watch. If we look at the dial here, we've got the 24-hour clock. So 12 on the outer circle and then the 13 to 24 on the inner circle. At 3 o'clock, we've got a date window. It's framed in white. It's very neat. It's a nice piece. You've got a lot of information on here. The luminosity is great because this is an ADDIESDIVE after all. As for the movement, we do have the automatic NH35 here. So this is a Japanese Seiko movement. It gives you 21,600 beats per hour, meaning that we've got a very smooth and fluid motion of the seconds hand around the circumference of the watch. If we look at the minute track here, we've got the minute track as well as the seconds track on the periphery of the dial. It's in white, sitting just under the rehaut. It's also numbered, so you've got the 5, 10, 15, and etc. seconds all the way to 60. So essentially, we do have a lot of numerals on this dial, and yet it just doesn't look crowded. Yeah, there's a lot of information, but not crowded at all. On the date, we can see that it's not set too deeply. You can look at it basically from below the watch, above the watch, on the side also. This is really good because sometimes that date is sitting a bit too deep. This is just right. The case is completely and utterly brushed. There are no polished surfaces here. Everything is very congruent, everything is tight. This whole watch just says utility and purpose. You get this watch if you need an everyday, all-day wearer. You want it to be safe from the wear and tear marks, and that's why it's all brushed. You still get very enticing and interesting light play, but it's slightly muted because you don't have those dress watch elements, and that is the polished surfaces. The sapphire crystal is absolutely and completely flat up on top. There is no dome. What I do like is that it's sitting so tight within that fixed bezel. It's almost a seamless integration right from the metal onto the sapphire crystal. On the right hand side of the watch, we've got a 6.8mm in diameter screw and crown. It gets the fine threading on the outside, and that is fine. I think it actually gets some elements which are polished here, so that's the only thing that really catches the light. The tip is sandblasted with the brand logo on there. If we flip the watch over, we can see a massive screw down case back. Basically, the full watch back is covered by this pan-like slab of metal. It's got the engraving in the middle as well as the specs on the periphery. Let's talk about the clasp, because the clasp is so special here. First of all, we do get 4 micro adjustments, and it looks like a very neat clasp. The actual wing is milled, the clasp is signed, and I've mentioned already those bevels. 45-degree bevels which are polished on the edge here. So it's making this watch, which is very utilitarian in nature, still quite elegant. I love ADDIESDIVE watches, I really do. I think they bring a ton of value. And I really like this watch in particular. For $60 we're getting plenty. Stainless steel, sapphire crystal, screw and crown, screw down case back, all the rest of it. But there is another watch on AliExpress which costs just $40. So a third less than this one, and you get exactly the same setup, except for a minute difference or two. So firstly, on the Tandorio I'm talking about, there you get a 36mm case. Here it's 38, but there we also don't get a date window, but we get exactly the same movement. And to be fair, I like to have a date on a dial. I do, I think it just makes the watch more practical. But if I'm thinking about value, how much value do you give over to the date? Considering that we've got exactly the same setup, we've got a very similar dial, and both of these watches are clear homages to the Hamilton Khaki Automatic. Now, 40 versus 60 doesn't seem much of a difference, $20. But if we look at the relative difference, you know, a third, 33% difference, that is quite a big difference. And to be fair, considering this bracelet is only using push pins, not screw pins. Yeah, okay. The tolerances, they're not the best. You know, it's an okay bracelet, but there's nothing super special about it. I like the clasp, I really do. It's signed. It's good, it's got 4 micro adjustments, milled wing. But again, is it the perfect clasp? No. Is it the perfect watch? No, it's just an all-day, all-rounder. But if I was going for a nice value-packed watch, I would consider the Tandorio, because that watch does bring a lot. And there it's got a very nice leather strap on it. It's hard, it's real, it's held on a butterfly clasp. It's an excellent watch for a third less money. Anyways, sorry about talking about a different watch, but the ADDIESDIVE here, if you're into ADDIESDIVE, and this is their latest design, a 2024 model, it's a good watch. I'm just saying, you know, you always have options, even if you're looking at something very specific, like this Khaki Homage. Anyways, the link to this watch, as well as the Tandorio watch, and the review of the Tandorio watch, are in the description below the video, so do check out those links, do check out that review, and make a qualified decision. What is it that you're after? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.